confused about this whole life coaching thing in the world. That's why I'm doing these series of what is life coaching and what's it all about. I think that the more that you can understand the process of life coaching, exactly my approach, then you can see if it resonates with you. And one of the things that drives me nuts is when I'm investigating something like a new fridge or getting a renovation in a kitchen or even like a car, buying a new car or making a move, the neighborhoods, all that. It's important to get good information brings good inspiration. There are so many different life coaches out there. There's so many psychologists and therapists. There's so many different approaches to solving a problem. And I love sharing the tools that I have here. And I also love to share what's going on. So I love to share the different possibilities for you to change and grow. That's why I'm here. That's why I invest this time, effort, and attention to the podcast. Welcome. I'm so glad we found each other in this whole World Wide Web. It's amazing. One of the things that was really interesting. So last week I had a master class and there were many of my members that were on the class and they always loved learning, which is just very exciting for me that they come to everything I do. And one of the things that one of the members said, she said, I joined the program for weight loss, but it was so much more than that. Weight loss was a side benefit for me. I'm so happy that I lost the weight and kept it off. So she's at about 80 pounds. Everything has improved. I just felt so much better than when I started. I really loved her being able to say that and share that because that a lot of us think that once we lose weight or once we, you know, use up all of our stash or whatever it is, we think then we can be happy. But my message to you is you need to learn to be happy now, whether you have, more weight than you want, or maybe you don't have as much success in your business as you want, or maybe it's you don't feel like your relationship with your spouse woo, is where you want it to be. Like all of those things, you have to learn to be happy with what you have when you have it. And the life coaching tools are there to help you to do that. And so that is my purpose. That is what I'm always learning and teaching and sharing with people because if you do not start loving yourself right now with all of your foibles and all your mistakes and all of your everything, once you get to the other side and once you let's say you want to lose weight, so if you lose weight in a place of terror and willpower and stress, you always feel that way because that's your process. So if you're building a business out of scarcity and out of you're stressing yourself all the time, you're just working double time and you're working late, then that's the kind of business you're going to have. And that feels really scary. It's not sustainable. So when you go into this beautiful brain of yours that often feels like a tangled ball of wool, and you can start figuring it out, that's when you get clarity. That's when you get so much relief. And I'm just so happy to be sharing that. One of the coolest things is the day that this comes out, I'm actually going to be in Utah speaking with some incredible women in the quilting world and outside. So we have Jenna Kircher and Amy Smart and Karina Gardner, Elizabeth Chapel. It's her retreat. It blows my mind that these tools that I use every day have been able to create so much of the dreams and the goals that I've had. And it's not because I got a lucky break. It's not because I knew somebody. It's because I'm creating the person who I want to be. And I am loving myself all along the way. If you're someone who wants to lose 100 pounds, you need to start wearing clothes that feel good in 100 pounds, like having extra 100 pounds. You need to put on some makeup, maybe curl your hair, just those basic things that you think that you'll do when you have lost weight, do them now. So that's a perfect segue. What is life coach? So on my worksheet here, So if you're watching the YouTube, you'll see it with you. If you're listening on the podcast, you can print it off. Life coaching, in my perspective, is a way for us to, it's like you and me sitting on a couch and we're looking at your life. And it's like your life is on a screen and you're now able to have perspective. Yeah, this is my life. I'm in an Instagram class right now. She did an audit for my Instagram and she said, she made these observations about my Instagram. And I looked at her, I was like, what do you mean? Of course I said this. Of course I said that. She's like, no, it's not there. I was like, what? I never said that. She's like, and so if you don't have someone who's objective or can look at that and have that perspective, then you aren't able to get that kind of clarity. So that's the first part of life coaching. It's like you can actually start having an objective way, like a mirror of looking at your life. And then the second part is that you go into your brain, which we know as you're learning on this podcast, your brain has your higher brain, you have your lower brain, and then you're able to then connect your brain, whether it's your lower brain or your higher brain, to your body. Now, I like to use this analogy. Our brain, of course, is our central processing unit, right? It's like the computer. We have a thought, and then the brain registers it and says, "Oh, she's feeling scared." Like if the thought is, "I'm not going to get this quilt done in time for the wedding," you have that thought, and then the brain says, "Oh, I know what that we need to do. We need to start to panic." So when we start to panic or worry, then it sends emotions right through. I imagine like we have all these different emotional like straws in our connecting our brain to our body. And so it sends down the panic button and our heart starts to beat faster. We start to maybe sweat a little bit because it's saying you need to hustle, you need to hurry up, or you need to figure something out. That is actually how our body works. So we have a thought like, I'm late, or that baby's so cute, or I'm worried about the weather changing, or the store is going to close soon. I better hurry. So we have all of these messages, and the brain says, okay, I know what to do. I have these hormones that are going to have these hormones that are going to connect with our different parts of our body and inform the body of what to do. If we are not allowing ourselves to feel feelings, which by the way, feelings are just vibrations in our body. So if we're cutting off those vibrations and those feelings, and because we're using a lot of food to not feel, or using a lot of like overworking or overspending or whatever that is, then we are in trouble, right? We're on our bodies now in that fight, flight, and freeze mode. And we're not, and we keep wondering, like, why am I not getting the results that I want? Because you're not being with yourself and you're not learning how to solve those problems. Life coaching matters because it helps us understand how our brain and our body are actually wired. And so if we're trying to short circuit that by saying, I can just tell myself what I want and then my emotions won't follow, that's not true. Your emotions will always follow. So if you say, I don't want to feel anything, you then are taking the ice cream or you're shopping or you're overworking yourself, that you're trying to short circuit a circuitry that doesn't work. And we see that. We know that our society is more obese than it's ever been. We also know that our society has the most mental health issues it's ever had. We have higher divorce rates and all sorts of indicators that people are not thriving right now. There are a lot of people who are suffering mentally with our mental health because we have a brain. So we have to make sure we have mental health and then physical health. We're not taking care of either one of those. And we're seeing the ramifications. We're seeing the problems that are coming because of that. One of the reasons why life coaching has become such a new concept is because we are not knowing how to really take care of ourselves in our life situations. And therapy has a place 100%. Therapist is amazing. But one of the main problems with therapy is that it's always it's most often focusing on the past, and it doesn't allow you to move forward in a certain way. In fact, I think that life coaching and therapy go hand in hand in helping you, just like with medication. So there is a time and a place for, let's say, mental health medication, because it's a way to help the person regulate their emotions through the not so high and the not so low. And then it gives you an opportunity to insert these life coaching tools and therapy tools to help you to build that muscle and to move forward. That's just kind of an explanation of life coaching and why it matters. And the thing that I need to tell you right now, and I will sound over and over, I will say this over and over, is that you are not broken and you are not past the point of no repair. Your worthiness as a person has already been decided, and you just need to show up in life, already know, okay, I'm 100% worthy. Doesn't matter how much I weigh, doesn't matter how successful my business is. It doesn't matter if what my marital status is or how many kids I have or what kind of house I have or what kind of car I drive. None of those things matter according to my worthiness. Now, if I want to have more kids and I don't have them, then there's some sadness there. But your worth as a person is not determined by that. So I wanted to share three simple, I say simple because they actually, like, we don't need to complicate it. The first one is three simple things to do every day to help you feel more fun and trust yourself more to show up. So you can write these. This is one of my suggestions is to write these three things down and put them on your screensaver, or you can put them on a note on your mirror. And yes, of course, you will. The first, and it's simple because it's just a matter of remembering. And it's like a reminder. Oh yeah, that's right. So the first one is life isn't so worthiness. Your worth is already set. So when women say, well, I don't know if I'm worth working on, I'm like, yeah, guess what? You are worth working on because your worth is already there. It's like you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. And so if you want to have a more enjoyable, meaningful life, then this is what we need to work on. So life isn't a test to see if you pass or fail. Life is a series of experiences to develop you in a variety of ways. Isn't that so awesome? I love that. That's really important we need to rewire our brain and our nervous system to remember that. The second one is curiosity. Now, I want you to think about hanging out with a little kid. How much fun is that? It's so fun because a paper bag becomes their best friend. A pile of rocks is like just the most exciting thing. And you can just be curious and explore, and you don't have those pretenses. You can just be. So I want you to practice doing that. And, I am the quilter's coach. We love playing with fabric, but are you playing with fabric? Or are you just buying a lot of fabric? Or are you just distracting yourself with buying a lot of things? Or are you actually playing and having fun and exploring and experimenting and letting yourself fail? Are you doing that? I hope so. And if not, let's practice. Let's work on it. And then the third thing is to feel all the feelings with unconditional love. You aren't good or bad. You are a human who is growing and evolving, which requires stretching and pain. So recently, I was having a conversation with my daughter, and she's been struggling. We all have times to struggle. In fact, today I went downstairs and I just said to my husband, I'm struggling. It's really hard for me to be working when the boys are home. I'm just feeling this nervous energy. He's like, let's go for a walk. So we just did a 3 kilometer walk, and it just helped. Just kind of, it's okay. And then I made the decision just to kind of hang out with the boys, make dinner, be with them. And then I'm home. I didn't go and watch the basketball game so that I could work and not feel guilty because they're not here. I don't have to feel bad that I'm not with them. So I let myself just feel the feelings. And this unconditional love is kind of a new concept for me. I know that my mom and dad did the best they could with what they had. I know they did. But I also know that as a little girl who was worried about being rejected from the tribe, I put a lot of conditions on myself. And I was furiously taking notes of, okay, my mom just made that comment about someone else in a negative way. So I need to make sure that I don't make her upset or mad or angry. So I was bringing my insecurities and my need to survive until I actually learned how to think about my thinking. I was still operating as a 40-year-old woman with those same fears as the 5-year-old, the 8-year-old, the 10-year-old, the 15-year-old, until we learn how to think about our thinking and how to unconditionally love ourselves. So, really being able to love how we love others. When I think about the way that I love my kids, that brings me so much joy because I realize that I have the capacity to love someone unconditionally. You know, my kids, they make mistakes and they do weird things. I'm able to just love them and have that perspective and just forgive them and understand, oh yeah, it's okay that we are having this moment right now, that they made that kind of mistake or they did this or they said that thing. I really want you to do that for you. So I'm going to read a little poem. Anyone who imagines that bliss is normal is going to waste a lot of time running around shouting that he has been robbed. The fact is that most pets don't drop, most beef is tough, most children grow up to be just like people, most successful marriages require a high degree of mutual toleration, and most jobs are more often dull than otherwise. Life is just like an old time rail journey. Delays, sidetracks, smoke, dust, cinders, and jolts, interspersed only occasionally by beautiful vistas and thrilling bursts of speed. The trick is to thank the Lord for letting you have the ride. Now, the other thing I wanted to share is actually from my conversation with my husband today when I was just feeling that pull of I really want to just take my kids to the beach right now, but I know that future Dara needs to do these things so that I can really enjoy our vacation. That I can really enjoy that time. And my husband said, it's kind of like riding a bike. When when you're on going up that hill, it's so hard to get that bike up that hill. Or sometimes when you're riding on the road where it's just like straight, it kind of is normal and plain, it just feels like it's not that hard. He's like, but when you get to that top of the hill and it's like that bike just rides and it's just easy and it just flows and it's awesome. I love that analogy and I love that reminder because when you think about the law of 50-50, to be a human, sorry, the law of 50-50, to be a balanced human being, you need to have space for the 50 that's good and you need to have space for the 50 that's bad. Challenge to you is, are you allowing the good and the bad in your life? And what are you making that mean about you? So I was speaking to a lady recently about her parenting, and it was interesting how she said when her kids are not doing well, she blames herself that she wasn't a good mom. It's such a sad story because you have to allow your kids to experience the good and experience the bad. And in those experiences, they are able to thrive because they need someone to trust them to say, I know you can figure this out. I just wanted to share this episode with you as you think about the idea of getting a life coach or getting skills and strategies and ways. I want you to consider the idea of working with me and working in my membership where you come in. It's like a self-serve menu. It's amazing. There's all these different modules. They teach you how to have an emotional regulation. It teaches you how to feel your feelings and not eat them or shop through them. It teaches you how to have difficult conversations. It teaches you how to make goals. It teaches you, there's a module on building self-confidence and making a goal in 30 days. There's modules on all sorts of life challenges. Not only do you get that for a lifetime, but you also get me as your coach. I have other coaches that work in my program, which is amazing to get firsthand help. And then even if you don't want to get live coaching, there's always this feature called Ask a Coach. And that is you can write in any question you have and myself or my coaches will answer it. The other part that's amazing is the community of women that are there. You no longer feel alone and you don't feel like you're broken. You realize, "Oh my goodness, I thought it was only me." And you see that it's not. I am here to help you. And if you do have questions, if these things are resonating with you and you still want to talk to me about it before making that investment, no problem. You can come on what's called a strategy call or a consult. But in that call, we can have a conversation. You can share with me some of your concerns. I can give you a diagnosis, basically, like I'm the doctor that kind of shows you what's going on. And then I'll be able to help you to be able to focus on what is your prescription? What do you need in order to heal and evolve from that? I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait for you to truly discover all of the amazing things in life that you haven't really allowed yourself to believe that you could have. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
If you aren't loving your current life and hear yourself saying things like, I should be happier, I should be getting more done, or question how productive and fulfilled you are, this podcast is for you. I'm Dara Thomason, professional quilter turned life coach for quilters, where I show you how to overcome obstacles like perfectionism, people pleasing, overeating, overcomplicating life, so that you can really start to enjoy your life by learning and using tools for your brain to help you transform your everyday living. Are you ready to make these changes? I'm ready to help. Let's start your transformation one UFO at a time.